You know, it's a question that kind of sneaks up on you as the years go by. Why does sleep get so much worse the older we get? Is it just an unavoidable part of aging? Well, today we're pulling back the covers on the science behind it all, and I gotta tell you, the answer might actually surprise you.
Welcome to SciSage, where everything is simple.
So, I had a birthday recently, and it really got me thinking about this. It feels like one of life's cruel jokes, right? You get older, you might finally have a little more time to rest, but getting a truly good night's sleep suddenly feels like climbing Mount Everest. So, I decided to do a little digging to figure out what's really going on.
Okay, so to get to the bottom of this mystery, first things first, we have to look at the evidence. What is actually changing in our sleep as we rack up those birthdays?
Our first clue is something called sleep efficiency. And it's pretty simple, really. It's just the percentage of time you're in bed that you are genuinely, truly asleep. The gold standard, is 90% or higher. So if you're in bed for 8 hours, that means you should be knocked out for at least 7 hours and 12 minutes of it.
And this is where the evidence starts to get a little depressing, actually. That efficiency number drops, and it drops steadily as we age. By the time you're 70, you can expect to be awake for about 20% of the time you're in bed. Let that sink in for a second. For every 8 hours you're lying in bed, that's over an hour and a half just spent tossing and turning.
Okay, so we're sleeping less efficiently. We get it. But what does that actually feel like? Let's break down the specific changes that are happening under the hood, behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's not just one thing. It's a whole shift in the quality of our sleep. We get less of that good, restorative, deep sleep, and a lot more of that light, kind of crappy sleep. We wake up more often, it takes forever to drift off, and my favorite on this list, pinballing. You're just bouncing between those light sleep stages, never really dropping down into that deep, restful state that your body is screaming for.
So, we've established what is happening to our sleep. The big question now is why. And that leads us to our first major culprit, the brain itself.
Just take a look at this comparison. On the left, you've got the sleep of a 35-year-old. See how smooth that is? It's like a perfect wave, just rolling down into deep sleep and back up again. And then, on the right, a 75-year-old. You see all those jagged spikes? Bam, bam, bam. Those are all little awakenings. And look, they almost never even get to that deepest stage of sleep all night. It's a totally different experience. And we're not just talking about patterns on a chart here. No, the brain's actual hardware is changing. As we get older, we physically lose brain mass, we lose neurons. And what this all means is that the very brainwaves we generate during sleep, they get weaker, they get thinner. It becomes physically harder for the brain to create and hang on to that powerful, deep sleep.
So that's it then? Case closed? It's just our brains getting old and that's the end of the story? Well, not so fast, because this is where our little investigation takes a pretty big plot twist.
Check this out. According to a huge poll, 66% of older adults say they have sleep problems. That's almost 2/3. It's a massive number. But hang on, that also means a full 1/3 of them don't. So what's up with them? What's their secret? And boom, here it is, the big reveal. The conclusion from the study was this. Poor sleep isn't just something that happens because you're aging. Instead, it seems to be an indicator of your overall health. Think about that for a second. Your sleep isn't failing because the number on your birthday cake is bigger. It's more like a check engine light for your body. I mean, this changes everything, right? Because if sleep is a report card on our health, then bad sleep could be a warning sign for something way more serious. And this is where the stakes in this whole story get incredibly high. Okay, time to introduce the two main villains in our story, beta amyloid and tau. These are basically toxic proteins, and when they start to build up in the brain, they're heavily linked to things like cognitive decline and even Alzheimer's disease. Beta amyloid forms these sticky plaques around your brain cells, and tau creates these tangles inside them that just choke them out. What the research is showing now is this terrifying cycle. It's a simple 3-step process, but it's absolutely devastating.
Poor sleep leads to a bigger buildup of these toxic proteins. And the data is clear. People who consistently get poor sleep have way more markers for both beta amyloid and tau in their brains. It's a direct link to a higher risk for cognitive decline. Okay, so if bad sleep lets all this toxic gunk build up, what's the deal? How does good sleep fight back? And this brings us to the final and honestly the coolest piece of this whole puzzle: the brain's very own cleaning crew. All right, get ready for this number. While you're asleep, there's this special system in your brain that kicks into overdrive. It becomes 10 times more active. 10 times. So what on earth is it doing? It's called the glymphatic system. And honestly, the best way to think about it is like the brain's overnight janitorial service, or its waste management system. Every single night when you're in that deep sleep, this system just fires up and starts power washing your brain. It's flushing out all the toxic debris that built up while you were awake, including, you guessed it, that nasty beta amyloid protein. It is literally cleaning your brain.
So there you have it. The mystery is solved. Poor sleep isn't just an annoying part of getting older. It's actually a sign that your brain's most essential cleaning process isn't getting the job done. And the long-term consequences of that, well, they can be devastating. So that leaves us with one really important question to think about. Is your sleep just about feeling good tomorrow, or is it literally protecting the future of your mind?